Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang saranang gacchami. So I'm aware that people may be tuning in to this conference, coming from many different points of view, different needs. Some born Buddhists and disciples their whole lives, some just curious about Buddhism, some coming out of boredom, some out of grief that's like something kicking them in the stomach again and again. So there are many different reasons behind people tuning in, everything from just wanting some comfort, wanting to relieve some anxiety, some desperate to ease the grief, some just want to hear some good Dhamma. So I'll try to make some comments that hopefully are useful for everyone. I live in a region that's known for its religiosity, southern part of the USA. I've heard many, many times people express the nature of their faith. A lot of times what they say is a bit childlike. They have faith that they'll be able to get the parking spots that they need. They say a prayer, they get green lights. A faith that's almost like a Santa Claus that comes along, that the God they believe in will give them whatever they want, whatever wholesome things they want. When I hear of this kind of faith, I don't criticize it, I just smile, because it may be, eventually a building block for something more sturdy. Some people have faith that whatever they need will be taken care of, and a higher power that's like a good father who will always attend to their needs. That works for a while until life smacks them hard and their needs are not met. So again, it's not nothing. It carries them through a lot, but maybe not everything. My personal faith is that no matter what happens, I can be okay. That there's an okayness behind it all. And I'd like all of us to tap into that level right now, if just for a moment. Perhaps close your eyes. Feel your body as you stand or sit, or lying on a sofa or whatever. Feel your body, contact whatever is the earth holding you up right now. Relax into that. No matter what happens, things are okay. This isn't the only life. It's one of countless lives. People are very fixated on individual sentences or looking at paragraphs. But we need to look at the entire book. And it's huge. It's a huge book. When we say each life makes up one chapter, I'd say it makes a few pages at most. So when you look in such a broad sense, at such a big picture, the ups and downs that are right in front of us are not perhaps so big. We've lost our dear loved one. We've been through that already. We may not remember, but we've lived through it. We've been through it. Never mind the inconveniences we're facing, the insecurities we may be facing. In a way, if we're in a position to be able to tune into something like this program, most of our problems are what can be called rich people problems. We're probably educated, probably sheltered, perhaps have plenty of food. When we think of the condition of most of the world throughout most of human history, we've had it pretty good. We've got it pretty good. If we still have hot and cold running water, we're still better off than royalty throughout the ages. Let's go back to that experience of feeling the body meeting whatever is holding us up. Whatever sensations are there, there are also non-sensations. Sound happens because of the silence between the notes. Physical experience you have right now can be observed because of the non-experience in between. There are those who say, "Be still and know that I am God." There really is a still place, a quietude behind everything, behind the sensations, behind the thoughts. Notice thoughts. Try to hold on to a thought. There's a lot of non-thought happening in and around every thought. There's a sweet quietude behind all of it. We can touch into that quietude no matter what happens. No matter whether we're grieving, no matter whether we're scared, or when things are comfortable and beautiful and just right. Even if we're in the hospital, depending on machinery to breathe, we can still just feel our body meeting whatever's holding us up. And know that we are well held. We can relax into that. We can know that really we're okay. No matter what, we're okay. There's an old saying, it's a bit of a silly one, but there is an old saying that every ending is a happy ending. If you're not happy, it's not the end. When you think of that in terms of enlightenment, it actually makes sense. Until there is enlightenment, there's still something more around the corner, something yet, something that will be. And as long as you want that to happen, it will happen, rest assured. As long as there's any wish whatsoever, then there will be more life, more experience. A new dawn will always come until we don't need it. When we've discarded all need for anything, then we'll rest into that perfect peace more deeply. We won't have any need for anything. Let's close our eyes again for a moment. Think about the sweetest moment you've ever experienced in meditation or prayer. Amazingly, we can tap into something like that just by calling it to mind. It's always there for you. You can allow your heart to become very bright. Circumstances don't have to be right for that to happen. I wish for everyone right now on the respirators, or worrying at home, or wherever they may be, is to be able to tap into that sweet, peaceful brightness, whatever you may name it, however you may experience it, to be uplifted by that. I don't think any of us chose this situation. Certainly not something a person would normally choose to experience. The economic disruptions, financial changes, insecurities, to see our friends and neighbors disturbed, unhappy, our family having to go through changes. I don't think we chose this. But I'll say from my own experience, so far in this life, in these 57, sorry I had to count, 57 years. I've gone through some seriously rotten things, and they've all been blessings to me. The more rotten, the more powerful the blessings that have come. At this point in my life, the rebound of blessing comes even more quickly. One of the worst things to happen to me was a catastrophic cancer, a form of lymphoma that's closely related to leukemia. And not one iota of that was good, but it was awesome. It propelled me into Buddhism. I don't think I would have found this if that hadn't happened to me. It was many years ago, remember? Buddhism was not so well known in the West, in the States at least. Not in my circles at all. I went on a spiritual search when they couldn't fix my body, when the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. And that started this journey. And the long period of treatments for a long time destroyed my health. My marriage crumbled. I was within a whisker of homelessness. There was a day I had to choose between paying a toll fee to get over a bridge to see my divorce attorney, or to have a co-payment for medicine I needed. Hard choice. None of that difficulty was wasted. I have counseled women going through divorce. I've counseled people going through poverty. I've counseled people going through illness. When someone has been on an ambulance ride and they talk about it, I know that one. I've been there. When someone talks about many hours in the ER, oh yeah, I know those. When someone talks about being on a ventilator, I know that one too. I remember it. I remember it quite well. Not one bit of the rotten stuff that's ever happened to me went to waste, because I have gifts to give other people out of it. When my father passed away, that was hard. We were very close. But within a week, less than a week, someone was at my door whose mother had just died, and I was able to speak with her with understanding. Prior to that, it was a topic I couldn't quite wrap my mind around. Wasn't willing to wrap my mind around. So my ability to love and my ability to give, my ability to develop compassion has expanded on the basis of all the rotten things that have ever happened to me. When people are going through something really hard, I say, yes, I can get that. I've had at least something happen to give me some way to hold them, to be open-hearted with them, sit by them in their pain, in their difficulty. So cancer was my great teacher, one of my greatest teachers ever. Because it led me to Buddhism, because my marriage crumbled, because it woke me to the fact that death wasn't an abstract concept, but something right over one's shoulder all the time. That is how I ended up becoming a nun. As I was recovering from cancer, the big question on my mind was, well, what do you do with your life now that you know that you will die? Just don't know when. For a long time there, I struggled whether to buy a pair of shoes. I desperately needed them, but I just didn't want to waste the money if I'd only have them a few months before I died. So having had that lesson of impermanence kind of ground into me over a period of months, and not just one or two short incidents, there were at least two near-death experiences and many months of uncertainty. All of the ordinary things of life didn't quite have their shine for me the way they did before. And all I wanted to do was to be ready for death and to do a little good before then. And that put me on the monastic path. I hope everyone who's going through something right now, something challenging, can sooner or later, hopefully sooner, turn it around. There are those who make reference to the difficulties of life being like dung for fertilizer. Ajahn Brahm mentions that a lot. And it is really so very true. We can make good use of whatever is happening. I wish that for you, and I wish it sooner rather than later, that whatever difficulties you may be experiencing will be the doorway for your heart to open ever greater, for your capacity to love to be so much stronger, your empathy to be out of this world with its strength. I wish you all the best.